You're watching Retirement Talk with Eric Kearney, Southwest Florida's retirement television. He's an author, a radio host, a fiduciary, and Southwest Florida's premier investment advisor. Here is Senior Investment Advisor Eric Kearney.
Hello, and welcome to Retirement Talk with Eric Kearney. I'm Wendy Falk, and I'm here today with Eric Kearney.
Hey, Wendy, how are you?
I'm good, Eric. How are you?
Great.
Good. Well, let's get right to the show. What do you think?
Sounds good.
People want to know some answers to the questions.
That's right.
Yeah, and get some great information. Eric, let's talk a little bit about what we've talked about hundreds and hundreds of times. What about the plan? It's all about the plan when you're doing financial planning for people. What can you tell me about that?
I think right now, during times like these, people want panoramic planning.
Mm-hmm.
They want to make sure that everything is covered. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times they're like, I have some investments and they're kind of being taken care of. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people are realizing right now that the custodian where their money is just a parking lot for their money. Mm-hmm. It's not being managed. There's actually no purpose for it. Mm-hmm. There's no direction. They're not giving any tax strategies. Mm-hmm. And so they really just feel like their money's just sitting there. And so what we're trying to do is, through panoramic planning, we're actually trying to provide purpose for that money. Mm-hmm. And so again, we want to determine the purpose, and that's going to determine the placement of where those investments go. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you, when a potential client comes in and I take a look at their portfolio, if I don't understand what the portfolio is trying to do for them, more than likely it's not working out very well for them. So the nice thing is that I've been doing this long enough and I've seen thousands and thousands of portfolios. I kind of cut right to the chase. Mm-hmm. I'm like, look, your fees are ridiculous. It's totally duplication over diversification. Mm-hmm. We're going through that portfolio and we're being very insightful and we're showing them a lot of things that they never knew about their portfolio. Mm-hmm. And they're like, wow, this is really eye-opening. This is what we want to do. We want to blow them away, but also get them reacquainted with that portfolio. There's nothing more interesting to me than to have someone leave my office and say, I'm finally starting to understand my portfolio. Mm-hmm. Because for a lot of times, they just look at a statement. All we care about is if it's February, we just want to make sure that we made more money than we did in January. Mm-hmm. But what happens when the markets get very tumultuous? What happens when this volatility comes in? We're like, I don't know if this is the right portfolio for me or not. Mm-hmm. So again, we're starting everybody at the beginning and really taking them through a whole process. That's what's making a huge difference with everything. Well,
and that process that you take them through at Retirement Wealth Advisors is key. Mm-hmm. And you all do an amazing job with that.
Thank you, Wendy.
Eric, at this point in time, you have totally redesigned your website.
Yeah.
We'd like to have people visit it. Can you tell us a little bit about what they're going to see when they get to your website?
Yeah, we wanted to make it functional. Mm-hmm. It's very functional, I think, so people can go in there and they can see what we're doing, what we're offering, mm-hmm. why we're different. Mm-hmm. They see that they have a financial planning side. Mm-hmm. They see that we have a wealth management side. They see that we're implementing tax strategies. Mm-hmm. They see where there's a concierge service. And the concierge service is something that is really special to me because I can't stand when I call somewhere and I get a recording and it says, hey, please hold, you're experiencing very high call volume. Yeah. Well, then hire more people, right? Yeah. I mean, the bottom line is that, if you can't answer the phones, in a good manner, then do something about it. Mm-hmm. We always want to have someone answering the phone. Yeah. I like that mm-hmm. because people want to feel heard. Mm-hmm. And so we always make sure, for the most part, sometimes we're in meetings and it goes to voicemail, but for the most part, we're still trying to answer the phones. Mm-hmm. While I'm alive and while my business is always intact, mm-hmm. we're always going to be answering the phones like that. The bottom line is that people are not getting the service in this industry that they deserve. Mm-hmm. It seems to be optional, where we actually make it mandatory. Mm-hmm. So on our website, we've actually gone in and you can read about our concierge service. Mm-hmm. And what we want to do is we want to put out fires before they get very big. Mm-hmm. So we're handling those day-to-day monetary needs on a very quick basis mm-hmm. and getting back to the client and saying, have we taken care of everything for you? Is there anything else that we can do? Mm-hmm. And we want to make sure that we're nipping it in the bud. And I'll tell you, that's why clients keep coming back to mm-hmm. us. They're like, thank you so much. They keep referring us. Mm-hmm. We have very low attrition because we're giving our clients everything that they need. And so we're growing more rapidly than we can ever imagine. So it's great.
It is great. Well, and let's talk to our viewers now and let them know you have 4 offices throughout Southwest Florida.
Right.
So it's very easy for someone in different areas to get in touch with you and set up a meeting.
Right.
Where are these offices?
We're on Vanderbilt Drive in Bonita. We're in Cape Coral. We're in Punta Gorda near the hospital, and also in Sarasota right off of 75. So we're busy. I mean, we're in each one of those every single week. So we're in your area.
Yeah. So give Eric and his team a call and make an appointment. You could sit down with them in one of their offices near your home. Eric, let's talk a little bit more about 401ks. When should you roll over a 401k?
So we like to do, as soon as you're separated from service, get that to a money manager. And the 401k is going to be the largest piece of your retirement puzzle, more than likely. And so a lot of times we're busy with lives. We're busy with our careers, maybe taking care of a parent, raising a child, sending them off to college. So we oftentimes put our retirement on the back burner, and the 401k goes along with that. You have to have all of your monetary, anything that's of monetary value has to be managed on a regular basis.
Yes.
It's got to be maintained, monitored, and managed regularly. And the 401k sometimes gets left out. We actually have a 401k system in place where all of our clients that have an existing 401k, we have an automated system set up so that we're reaching out to that client and saying, okay, we need to review your 401k. So again, we want to make sure that we're implementing that with the current investments that we have under management with them and making sure that they're all working well together. And so again, if you have a 401k out there and you are separated from service, you're no longer working from there, make sure that you move it. The other thing that we see is people that don't consolidate their accounts. They're just out there all over the place. They're not being managed. And that's probably one of the worst things that you can do.
Eric, let's talk a couple of minutes while we have that to talk about the complete guide to retirement income that you just recently did. Can you tell our viewers a little bit about this?
Sure. This is our complete guide to retirement income. We've had this around for quite some time. We've just updated again. This is a very powerful guide because it's showing people all the different avenues that you have to have in retirement. The average millionaire has 7 streams of income, and what we're trying to do is we're trying to set up different streams of income so when the markets get tumultuous, we can actually turn off some of those income streams and turn on others. So we're very grateful to have this out, and a lot of people have come in and said, wow, I learned more from the retirement income guide than ever before. They can actually go to erickearneyadvisor.com and download that off of our website as well.
Oh, that'll be great. Eric, I want to ask a little question of my own. You know, I have annuities and they're kind of all over the place. And actually I've talked to some other people and that's kind of where they are with those. And I just a lot of us just don't understand them.
Right.
What can you tell us about that?
You know, there's a lot of people that come to us after a class or after the radio show and they say, Eric, you know, I have annuities and they're all over the place. They don't understand them. They don't understand what income they're going to provide. They don't understand the time frames. So what we're doing is that they're coming in and we're actually doing an annuity stress test. And a lot of times we're fixing those, putting them into a better product that actually fits their time frame, fits their income needs, but also fits in with the rest of their portfolio. So a lot of times people have very old products out there and we're trying to update those and also providing them with better living benefits. I'm not a big annuity person, but we replace millions and millions of dollars every single year. And as we've talked before on the show, we've replaced everything from $50,000 up to $2 million annuities. So it's not affecting just the smaller investor, it's affecting the larger one as well. And we have made a significant difference in changing a lot of these policies for a lot of people.
I know you're known as the annuity fixer.
Yeah, I don't know where that nickname came from, but it kind of stuck. But again, we're really not a big annuity shop, but I'll tell you, I mean, we fix an awful lot of annuities and we've put people in a significantly better position with them as well.
That's good to know. Eric, let's take this opportunity. We're going to open up the phone lines. The phone number is 1-800-779-1942. Eric, share with our viewers what you are going to offer to the first 10 callers.
Sure. If you've never had a financial plan, you're interested in a second opinion, you have questions on your annuities, or you're interested in a portfolio recovery strategy, we're going to take the next 10 callers who have saved at least $500,000 for retirement. And what this will consist of is simply going through all the reports for you, the fee reports, the Morningstar reports, a tax analysis, maybe a volatility analysis. Let's get you reacquainted with your portfolio. If you're interested in your very own income stream, we'll show you proven strategies and techniques to turbocharge your retirement income. In short, we'll take all the guesswork out of financial planning. Give us a call, 1-800-779-1942, or standing by.
Phones are ringing. Be patient. You'll get through. Don't go anywhere because we'll be right back.
What does your retirement look like? Is it filled with travel, spending time with family, uninterrupted rounds at the golf course? Or are you too worried to even think about your hopes and dreams?
Questions about your retirement are normal. So come into our office, sit down with us, and let us help you find those answers.
Eric and his team can answer your questions with a complimentary review of your retirement and income plan, and it all starts with getting to know you.
We specialize in helping people just like you prepare for the retirement that they've always dreamed of.
They'll do exactly that by going over your current strategy to expose the weaknesses that may exist in your retirement portfolio. Plus, they'll explain potential risks and possible strategies to you in easy-to-understand terms and help get you reacquainted with your portfolio and income strategy.
What I enjoy most about retirement planning is sitting down with you and having real conversations about your retirement dreams and goals.
Once they understand your retirement goals, objectives, and dreams, they'll work to custom build a retirement plan to help ensure that you cannot outlive your income in retirement.
Retirement doesn't have to be scary. Let us help you retire confidently.
Because every dream needs a plan. Call Eric today and schedule your visit. You only retire once, so let's get it right the first time.
Hi, it's great to be back with you. Eric, before the break, we were talking about the plan.
Yes.
And there's a lot of moving parts to the plan.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yes, that's for sure. So let's talk about this part. Actually, we'll kind of group them in together. How do you manage Medicare and Social Security?
I don't.
You don't?
No.
Okay, well, then who should we talk to? Okay,
I don't want to have
next
anything
question.
to do with it. No, we actually do. I just don't do it in my office. So I'm very grateful to have Valerie Manelli in my office, and she's actually our Medicare specialist.
Mm-hmm.
And Valerie has been, I've been so grateful to her because we handle so much of the investment section and so forth that when Medicare became a big issue for a lot of our clients,
Mm-hmm.
we had to bring in a specialist.
Yes.
And so, and I'll tell all my clients right up front, I don't know anything about the M word, but I'm going to bring in Valerie. So Medicare has to be implemented into the financial plan.
Mm-hmm.
People have a lot of questions about that. And people assume that it's free, and it's not free.
Mm-hmm.
People are racing to get to 65 just for Medicare, and it's not all that exciting, right?
No, it's not.
So I tell them, I'm like, don't wish your life away. So the bottom line is that in the financial plan, we're actually factoring in what age they are and how do we get them into Medicare at what point. I do know that there's 7 months of enrollment. There's 3 months before you turn 65, the month that you turn 65, and then the 3 months afterwards. And Valerie's always recommending that as soon as you get to the 3-month part before 65, you want to start to apply. And what she's doing is she's actually giving Medicare strategies to you and letting you know what your different options are. And that takes a lot off of my plate because I know that it's super important, but we have to do it. So like I said, that's where we bring in another team member who's a very who's basically a specialist on that, who can take over that. And so when that takes that off of my plate, and I know that she's darn good at it, I don't have to worry with my clients.
Yeah, there's a lot of, entities to Medicare that people need to understand when they start to sign up for it. So Valerie is great at that.
I appreciate that. I think people don't realize how many ingredients go into that financial plan. They don't realize how many moving parts there are. And I'll tell you, we had a gentleman call me up a couple weeks ago, and again, he's like, hey, Eric, what's your performance? What's your rate of return? And I was like, and I just knew right away that he's not going to be a good fit for us. If you're going to be chasing performance, that's not a client for us. We don't chase performance. Again, I want to shut off everything in the world and I want to concentrate on that one client. And we just want to focus on their own personal benchmark and get them from point A to point B. And I'll tell you, a lot of my clients can go through a difficult market, but they're like, hey, we're doing just as well as we were last year, even with a bad market. that's the way it's supposed to be. You know, it's not always going to be great in between, but the thing is that through the financial plan, we can get through that short term. I tell everyone, long-term returns are the only ones that matter, but long-term is not where we live. You know, we live in the short term. And so when the markets get tumultuous, we get a little scared and we realize how many moving parts there are in our financial plan and how many things that we have to actually cover. So Medicare is one of the basic, you know, first ones that we really have to cover because you want to know how to combat that and navigate through that. So Medicare, you know, as much as I don't know about it, to be honest with you, and I'm just, you know, I'm actually an advisor who's honest about what I know and what I don't know about, but that's why I bring in a Medicare specialist, because I want that to be her number one thing.
Well, that's why you're a great advisor. You realize, you know, Medicare's not my specialty.
Right.
So let me bring somebody in, and that is their specialty.
Right.
And she can help people with that. How about Social Security?
Oh, Wendy, you keep bringing things up that I don't.
That's my job.
Out of left field, no. I know a lot about Social Security, you know, more than the average person. But again, I deflect that to Donna, who's the financial planner. But the one thing I will talk about that is that Social Security is not a standalone event. It has to be implemented into that income plan. And I'll tell you, people don't realize the good, the bad about Social Security. They don't understand, even though the Social Security Administration has gotten rid of a lot of options, there's still different things out there that you can do. The other thing that Donna does is she does give it a cost of living adjustment of 2% over time with Social Security. Doesn't mean that every single year you're going to get 2% inflation stacked on top of that, but over the lifetime of that plan, Social Security will be naturally inflated by 2%. So the nice thing is that she's filtering that into the income plan, and she's also providing you with different strategies. So we have all this really cool software where we input everything, it's kicking out all their different strategies, and we're choosing those. And I'll tell you, we've have a lot of people that are coming in that have already chosen their Social Security and said, we didn't have any guidance and we know that we made a mistake with that. So that's okay, we have to work around that. But shame on the advisor that was working with them at the time for not showing them any strategies. And that's where, again, we have to have different departments that have very big specialties in what they do, because like I said, as much as I don't know about Medicare, I have a special department for that. As much as I don't know about Social Security, we still have a department for that. We have to head off everything that these retirees need, and that's really what overall panoramic planning is doing.
Let's talk a little bit more about the retirement income guide. We've brought it up in the past, but but it's a really important piece to your practice.
Yeah, they can go to our website, www.erickearneyadvisor.com, and download that right off of our website. The nice thing is that it really teaches you what's important about a portfolio, what strategies to implement, what about tax strategies, mortgage reduction strategies, how to get through any kind of market. And so people now more than ever realize that another word for retirement is unemployed. So how are we going to still create that income? The retirement income guide, I give that out to everyone that asks for it. And they're like, Eric, I can't believe how beautifully designed this is, but how useful it is. And so we actually want it to be a good tool for people, but it's also highlighting how we manage money. And there's a lot of people that say, now we see how you're significantly different from other firms, and that's what we really want to be.
Eric, we're going to open up the phone lines again. The number is 1-800-779-1942. You have something to offer the first 10 callers, don't you?
Yes, we do. If you're in need of a second opinion or a full-blown comprehensive financial plan, or you're interested in a portfolio recovery strategy, we're going to take the next 10 callers. If you've saved over $500,000 for retirement, this is a great opportunity for you. And what we're going to do is we're going to run all the reports, the fee report, the Morningstar reports, a tax analysis, maybe a volatility analysis. Let's see where it takes you. Let's see where that plan leads you. And again, without any obligation. If you're interested in your very own income plan, we'll show you proven strategies and techniques to turbocharge your retirement income. In short, we're going to take all the guesswork out of financial planning, so give us a call. We're standing by, 1-800-779-1942.
Please stay with us. We have a lot more information when we return.
What does your retirement look like? Is it filled with travel, spending time with family, uninterrupted rounds at the golf course, Or are you too worried to even think about your hopes and dreams?
Questions about your retirement are normal. So come into our office, sit down with us, and let us help you find those answers.
Eric and his team can answer your questions with a complimentary review of your retirement and income plan, and it all starts with getting to know you.
We specialize in helping people just like you prepare for the retirement that they've always dreamed of.
They'll do exactly that by going over your current strategy to expose the weaknesses that may exist in your retirement portfolio. Plus, they'll explain potential risks and possible strategies to you in easy-to-understand terms and help get you reacquainted with your portfolio and income strategy.
What I enjoy most about retirement planning is sitting down with you and having real conversations about your retirement dreams and goals.
Once they understand your retirement goals, objectives, and dreams, they'll work to custom build a retirement plan to help ensure that you cannot outlive your income in retirement.
Retirement doesn't have to be scary. Let us help you retire confidently.
Because every dream needs a plan. Call Eric today and schedule your visit. You only retire once, so let's get it right the first time.
Thanks for staying with us. Eric and I are so happy that you did. Eric, let's talk a little bit more. We were talking about the plan and all of the different moving parts that go with a good retirement plan.
Right.
Let's talk about transferring wealth. How do you do that, and in what way do you do it?
So last year when the Secure Act was just kind of being talked about, we paid a lot of attention to that. And what blew me away was how many people in our industry, advisors, investment advisors, whoever, had no clue about it. And we knew that if any parts of that Secure Act came to fruition, it was going to be a big deal. And the more that we pulled the layers back of this, and there's a lot of layers, people look at the very simple part of it and they say, oh, now my required minimum distribution instead of 70 and a half is 72. But they didn't see the monster tax part of it. And we always laugh because after one of my radio shows, and I have him in my phone as Angry Radio Guy, I kept him as a contact. He wasn't really angry at me, but he was like, Eric, people should be furious about the Secure Act and how this is going to be one of the nation's biggest tax grabs. And I said, I get it. I realize that, but there's a lot of people that don't. Now, all of a sudden, we've been educating our clients and we've been talking about on the radio show about how the Secure Act really is not going to be beneficial to people who inherit IRAs down the road, that it's going to put them into a very highly taxable situation. And that's basically going to be how they're going to fund Social Security in the future. So there's a lot of people that are asking me, how do I do a transfer of wealth so that I don't have to be a part of this? And so we're doing this right now, and we're factoring in how we can actually transfer wealth to the beneficiaries the most tax efficient way, and they're not going to be a part of this. And people are like, you know, we've heard for a long time that the government can take our 401ks. They're not exactly taking your 401k, but they're taxing you in a big way. And so basically what they're doing is they don't want to be a part of that. And so transfer of wealth has gotten to be another department of ours that we're actually concentrating on. It's another arm of our financial planning department, and it's how to transfer that wealth to anyone that you want to have it the most tax efficient way. And that's been a really big deal for us this past year. And our clients right now are like, Eric, we're so glad that you were on the forefront of that. Again, we were being proactive, not reactive. And the thing is that every time that they come up with something different, we really have to go in there and figure out how this is going to affect people. And again, people live short term. We're living this year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 and 25 years. And that's very difficult for people to look out that far. It's actually easier for me to do it that way. It's just how my brain is built. And so again, I love the financial planning process because going through that process, I see that person going all through retirement. I see all the obstacles that could come our way. And I'm saying, what if this happens? What if this happens? And we're knocking those off. And people are saying, geez, Eric, you're giving me things that came out of left field that I didn't even think about. But that's my job. My job is not just to manage your investments, it's to plan for your entire life. And again, you know all the ingredients that go into that. There's so many different moving parts. And now all of a sudden when the government comes out with something different, we've got to go ahead and figure out a way to combat that. And that's what we're doing.
Well, that sounds fantastic, Eric. Sounds like a lot of work. You've got a big job.
We do have a big job. I do a lot of reading.
And you do a great job at it.
It's my passion, and I'll tell you, I couldn't imagine being in another industry. I love what I'm able to do for people, and we've been able to help out so many people. It's really satisfying to me, so I'm grateful for that.
Okay. Well, Eric, why don't you tell me a little bit more about your investment process?
So our investment process is very unique. This is where people come to us and they say, okay, Eric, I'm not screwing around anymore. I need sophisticated management. And there are some people that turn their money over to me and they say, Eric, you did the plan. I don't care about what the markets do. You have my money. You understand my goals and objectives. This is my lifestyle, right? And I'm like, I got it, right? And we take it very seriously. There's some people that will come in and turn over a very large account after a 20-minute conversation. There's some people that will take 6 months to turn over a large account. It doesn't, you know, people are different in different ways. The bottom line is that they're both getting the same process, but we have to put them through a process and figure that out. But the thing is that we educate our clients. Or again, we're going through standard deviation. What is Sharpe ratio? What is alpha? What is beta? What is correlated? What is non-correlated? And these are big words, but when I really break it down for them and I show it to them, I show them their own portfolio on this analysis, and I go through it and I let them mark it all up. They're like, I've never had this done before. No one's explained to me this. The biggest thing about a good wealth manager is if you're not managing risk and you're not managing volatility, you're not managing the portfolio. Everyone is so focused on rates of return. Again, that is just a byproduct of the risk and volatility. So what we're doing is that we're going in and we're lowering your volatility index and we're trying to raise up that rate of return. And there's nobody out there that doesn't want to lower their risk and volatility while getting a smoother rate of return. So that's really what we're looking to do.
Eric, we're going to open up the phone lines again. Please tell our viewers what they can receive if they're one of the first callers.
Sure. If you're out there and you've never had a second opinion, you're interested in a portfolio recovery strategy or a full-blown financial plan, give us a call today. We'll do a full analysis for you. It's a $1,500 value, and I'll tell you, Donna's been great at this. Give us a call today.
Remember, you only retire once, so let's get it right the first time. Have a great week and an even better retirement. Eric, it's been a pleasure being with you today.
Thank you, Wendy.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll look forward to seeing you the next time on Retirement Talk with Eric Kearney.